Okay. This story is about what's in that computer box, what's in the box, and how it got there. You see, last year we had a vote, and you told me you wanted to see a story about the illegal animal trade. So I called up some researchers and found what may be the coolest little animal you've never heard of. So that led me here, to Indonesia, on the island of Sumatra, in a police station, and to that box. This is a pangolin. And this, well, this is a cuter look at the pangolin. So why are we talking about this little guy? Because in another box in this building are these guys. Some of these guys are alleged pangolin traffickers. And the pangolin is probably the most trafficked mammal in the world. Yeah, I'd never heard of it either, but I'm pretty sure that's one of the reasons why the trade is so big. No one cares enough to stop it. So we're pulling into Cuc Phuong National Park in Vietnam. It's one of the only places where you can see an Asian pangolin. All the pangolins at this center in Vietnam were rescued from the illegal trade. All right, going to see the pangolins at night. Is there a light blinking on there?
Oh, really?
Okay. I'm here at night because pangolins are nocturnal. They're also really shy, making them that much harder to follow with your camera. So he's down in that tube. Pangolins just don't get the support you'd see for rhinos or tigers. And it doesn't help that pretty much no one knows what they are. I mean, you've probably never even seen one at a zoo, since only a handful of zoos actually have them. That's because pangolins just don't do very well in captivity. They can literally die of stress. Do we not want to stay with the one too long because it might be stressful for them?
Yeah.
When a penguin's threatened, it just rolls up into a ball until the threat goes away. It's kind of crazy, but pangolins don't really have that many threats out in the wild. We're pretty much their biggest problem. Pangolins also have these enormous tongues for eating ants. Ants that, in the wild, they dig up with these giant claws. Wait, time out for cute pangolin footage. And we're back. Okay, so seriously, the guys at the rescue center explained how, when the government intercepts a pangolin shipment, they'll pass along some of the animals to the center to be rehabilitated, and hopefully released back into the wild. But there are only 6 pangolins here today, and it's estimated that at least 10,000 pangolins, possibly way more, are traded each year. So it's not hard to see how the majority isn't so lucky. But where do they go then? Well, it turns out that the demand for pangolins is actually huge. And despite it being an underground trade, it's not exactly an underground product. See, check this out, right here on the menu. Pangolin, right on the street. This restaurant too. For the record, I didn't order it, but I did think about it. Part of me wanted to see what all the fuss was about.
Have you had pangolin?
Yeah.
Is it good? Have you ever had it?
The going rate seems to be about $1,750 for the whole pangolin. See, here's a waitress showing me how it's prepared. To prove it's the real thing, they'll slit its throat right there.
It's very special, right?
At another restaurant, I saw pangolin-infused wine.
What's it called? What is that?
They say drinking it is good for your health.
Is that a tongue?
Also, you can buy pangolin scales, which are supposed to have health benefits. But they're made of keratin, the same as fingernails. None of this is proven. Medicine is part of it, but eating pangolin has also become a status symbol. Like a luxury car or a designer handbag, exotic animals are a sign of wealth. And growing economies here and in China have helped create demand for the pangolin. And the trade has a nasty underbelly. Evidence is easy to find, both on the street and in this footage activists gave me. There's so much demand, they actually don't measure pangolins by the pound so much as by the ton. But all of that is only part of the network. This scene here, this is a trafficking bust. 14 tons of pangolins. We have a good idea where all this was headed, but where did it come from? In this case, there's an easy answer. Sumatra. Like that box earlier, remember? This island in Indonesia is supposed to be a hub of pangolin poaching. And it's also where you can find some big players in the black market. Like this guy here. I had to meet this guy undercover, and I'm not showing his face, because I obviously didn't tell him that I was filming our conversation. He's under more scrutiny from police lately, but that doesn't seem to be stopping the trade. And the supply chain continues from there. High-level traders like that guy will send representatives down to small villages.
Asking people, you want to find the pangolin or something like that, he give money.
And they'll offer money to locals who are willing to catch the pangolins. Ruslan used to hunt pangolins, so he took me out to see what that's like.
A light blinking on my head?
Red.
That's good.
This village borders 2 national parks, so it's prime pangolin territory. It's beautiful, but I've got to be honest, pangolin hunting is the
I
worst.
keep seeing these leaves floating down the stream and thinking they're snakes. Ow.
This video doesn't even begin to show you how awful it is. What you can kind of see here is me tripping up hills, crossing streams,
Is that 3 river crossings?
this whole thing,
Leeches.
and basically fumbling around in a very dark jungle.
How did they go? This way?
We looked in trees and they found some pangolin footprints,
They found the track.
but we turned back after a while without seeing one. What I did see though is that these hunters aren't exactly the bad guys. Like I said, this is really hard work. You wouldn't do it unless you were desperate.
I'm going to say that hunting pangolins is really difficult, frustrating work, huh? I wonder if they would agree.
Same like you. It's hard work.
Yeah.
They're not doing this to get rich. They want to feed their kids.
Buy vegetables, eggs, rice.
So it's more complicated than just rolling up and arresting these hunters. As long as someone's buying pangolins, someone else will be willing to catch them. So what could stop this? Better law enforcement, especially for the big bosses, and better funding for people who are trying to curb the demand. This is a big deal, because activists say the pangolin could go extinct before most people realize it exists.